Okay, very good. Welcome back, everyone. Apologies for being late. We will reconvene to open session at 10:09. Please don't mute yourself if you can.
They can use the live stream.
Muted the TV.
It doesn't work that way. You
I'm
need
sorry.
to go on the live stream.
Okay. You ready? Okay, so we have no report out from closed session. We'll take the action item at action item 6. So to go to items for action, item 6, item number 8, approve facilities use agreement with Saddleback Valley Unified School District for the facilities for OPA Middle School and OPA Saddleback Valley. For Education Code Section 47614 and its implementing regulations set forth on Title 5 of the California Code of Regulations, Section 11969.1. At sequence, collectively Proposition 39, Saddleback Valley Unified School District has offered OPA facilities use agreement for comparable facilities for the Oxford Preparatory Academy Middle School and Oxford Preparatory Academy Saddleback Valley for a term of 1 year from August 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. There will be no pro rata fees charged to OPA for the facilities for either school. It is recommended the Board of Directors approve action item A as submitted, and just an amendment to this. The facilities use agreement we're going to be approving today would be as submitted by the SBUSC negotiators on 5/1/2023. And the board is also giving authority to Amy Cunan and Sarah Coleman, our attorney, to continue to negotiate the final terms related to the insurance section and the exhibits itself. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion.
Thank you, Member Chavez. Second, thank you, Member Jackson. We're going to have a discussion.
We have a presentation.
Oh, thank you, please.
Yes.
Today would be a good day for you to take your voicemail. Get your radio voice on.
All right, thank you for joining us, everyone. Today we are going to are asking the board to take action on the facilities use agreement for the new OPA Middle School, and we're very excited that we have a facility for our OPA Middle School that we're able to share with our community, and that will give us the ability to provide our middle school students with really enhanced programs and activities, enrichment opportunities, sports, and really be able to have a middle school site that is going to really focus on our middle school students and what their needs are as middle schoolers, which is very different from what the needs are of elementary school students. And so we have a great staff and administrative team that are now going to be able to focus just on our middle school students and that have a lot of experience with secondary students. So the new Oxford Preparatory Academy Middle School is going to be adjacent to Saddleback Valley. SBUSD has agreed to build a new site for OPA Middle School campus in the large space behind OPA Saddleback Valley, basically off of Doomere and Blackfoot. They're going to add 16 classrooms for use by OPA Middle School in order to allow us to really, again, house all of our middle school programs and classes. This is going to, this is the.
It didn't crash.
Didn't crash.
We'll just edit to what we had discussed in the minutes. We added it. We just need to refresh. And then change this. It's just been posted. Okay, so it is, the changes were captured. They were perfect.
Sorry, thank you. This is going to allow us to continue to deliver our award-winning educational programs while maintaining all of our previously planned enrichment, electives, and sports. Saddleback Valley has agreed to provide the space to Open Middle School without charging any lease fees. Previously, OPA SV has paid pretty significant lease fees for the Saddleback Valley campus, and we had planned for significant lease fees for the middle school. Instead, now we'll be able to spend the money in the classroom for students rather than on building costs. So if you can click to the next slide. I guess I can see if my thing works. So Open Middle School will have a completely separate campus with separate entrances, separate office, separate fields, lunch areas, classrooms, a lot of separate facilities. We are actually going to be getting 3 fully equipped science labs that are actually more than we had planned with if we were sharing a site with Saddleback Valley Schools or with on an elementary site. We're also looking at getting a technology lab. We're going to be putting in outside lockers, and we'll have space for electives and world language rooms. We're going to have multiple fields on the campus for the middle school students, basketball and volleyball courts for PE and after school sports. And again, our middle school students will have separate lunch areas, a separate blacktop playgrounds, all of those different facilities.
Okay, do you mind going back one? Could you clarify to the community? Sort of the yellow ones are the new. Could you kind of orient people on the map itself?
So the yellow. Let me see if I think my pointer is working. But so the yellow buildings on the bottom are going to be our new classrooms for Open Middle School. And there will be several classrooms within the existing buildings, 4 classrooms that are denoted in the light blue, as well as locker rooms and a conference room that are denoted as part of the middle school campus.
A fence, right?
A fence. Yeah. You can see kind of where that dark line is, where the area is brighter. All of that will be fenced in as the middle school campus. We have also been given permission to put in a separate parking lot off of Dunemere and Blackfoot, so that our our middle school students will have a completely separate entrance, and we'll be able to alleviate any parking issues, because there will be a separate time for our middle school students to be entering campus from our elementary students. So. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a future slide. But again, the yellow buildings, they're kind of a little bit larger here than they'll actually be, just to kind of show you possible layouts. We are still working on what that layout will actually look like, but it will consist of the 16 classrooms, as well as an additional set of restrooms for our middle school students. There is already restrooms as well for the middle school students, kind of on the side of that building on the left-hand side. So our middle school students will have 2 sets of restrooms, and our elementary students will still have 2 sets of restrooms, or actually 3 sets of restrooms, including the restrooms in Honor Hall. Next slide. So just an overview of the facilities again. There will be 20 middle school classrooms. 16 of those are the new classrooms, and then the 4 existing classrooms. So we will still have room for all of the classes and programs and staff that were initially planned for. So we'll still have world language classrooms, music classrooms, but with the addition of the science labs, as well as a technology classroom. Again, there will be separate office space and separate restroom spaces, separate school entrances. Just like we've been doing with our current 2 sites, We'll be putting in new cameras, fencing, access control systems. And then again, we'll have boys and girls locker rooms, multiple sports fields, basketball, volleyball courts, and then a separate lunch area. And then one thing that Mr. Barley has been working on is looking at the placement of new lockers for our students to be able to store their supplies against the buildings that are currently existing there. Next slide. So again, we are, the main purpose for our building our new middle school is to be able to really expand our offerings for our programs and our courses for our students and really increase the amount of opportunities that our students have. So our students will still have their core academic courses, but by combining the two middle schools, we'll be able to offer more accelerated courses for those academics, not just in math, but in the other academic areas. We'll also be able to offer stronger intervention programs for our students, both during the school day and after school. And then we are lowering the class sizes in our middle school courses. So this expansion is allowing us to have not only lower class sizes in our middle school, but also lower class sizes across the board, in elementary school as well. One of the things that I'm the most excited about, and Mr. Berkeley and I have talked a lot about, are the different elective and enrichment offerings that we're going to be able to have at the middle school now. So every student will still be able to have a world language. Now they'll be having that world language every day in a period that is a full length period. So they'll be able to have Mandarin or Spanish. But we're going to be increasing the elective offerings for our students. So offering different types of art classes, different music classes, even looking at possibly doing things like guitar or even ukulele for music, as well as band. And there's been a lot of interest in doing things, more music classes, offering different computer science classes, STEAM classes, marketing, possibly future business leaders of America, and then continuing with our ASB and PAL electives. It'll also allow us to really increase our after-school enrichment opportunities with that optional 8th period that we're going to have in the middle school. So the optional 8th period will allow us to have enrichment classes after school, as well as different after-school sports programs. And so a student who might be in ASB, but who is interested in coding or robotics would be able to still take their ASB elective during the school day, but then might take an optional 8th period doing things like robotics or coding. Or they might be interested in playing a sport. And we're actually looking at doing those sports in conjunction with a league of other schools here in Orange County. Our surrounding public middle schools don't offer after-school sports programs, but we are trying to find a league that we can work with. And so again, and next slide. Sorry, you kind of talked a little bit about this. Again, we're going to be offering sports, enrichment, but also intervention both in within the school day as well as after school for our students. And you can skip to the next slide. So middle school students will have separate entrances and exits off Blackfoot and Doomere. Again, we have been approved to put in a separate parking lot where students will be able to enter and exit for the middle school. Parents with younger SV students, we want to make sure that they don't have a big gap in between dropping off their Saddleback Valley students or dropping off their middle school students and then dropping off their Saddleback Valley students. So we are going to have some campus supervisors to watch elementary siblings. And we're looking at being able to do that actually on both sites, on both SOC and SV, just to provide parents with a little bit more flexibility who might be driving siblings back and forth between the school sites. And then again, those staggered start and end times and separate entrances will really actually decrease the traffic from even what it is right now at Saddleback Valley, because you'll have students entering in on separate sides of the campus, as well as being split between the two different start times. The next slide. So for our current elementary school campuses, SV and SOC, the pickup and drop off will be very convenient for families. The middle school location is adjacent to Saddleback Valley, and then Saddleback Valley is less than 4 miles away from OPA SOC. So it is a really convenient location for all of our OPA families if they have students between the different schools. And we're also looking at other possible ways that we can, provide different transportation offerings for families. OPA SOC and OPA SV are still going to be able to add additional elementary students in all grade levels and lower class sizes in all grade levels. And so we really are able to have our middle school with all of its amazing programs dedicated to our middle schoolers, but still take more students because we have such a large wait list in elementary school. We are still going to be able to take more students across both of our OPA SOC and SV campuses. And then we are still going to continue our campus improvement projects really at all of our sites. OPA SV and SOC will be getting, as well as the new middle school, will be getting new furniture, landscaping, painting, continuing to upgrade our security, which Mr. Barley has really been doing a lot with lately. We've been using our cameras and our access control. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to continue to do those upgrades, and now without having to pay those high lease costs, we'll be able to invest more money into our classrooms. Next slide. And then just kind of some upcoming activities. Today we'll be sending out an email and a video to all of our OPA community, kind of giving more information about the middle school facility. We'll also be having a staff information meeting this afternoon. And then we are going to be having a middle school town hall tomorrow night at 5:30. With the short notice that we're giving to families, and because our previous town halls have been virtual, we're going to have this middle school town hall virtual to try to make sure that everyone is able to attend, but we are going to have some additional town halls throughout the end of the school year and into the summer, and we are going to have those in person so we can really start kind of bringing our middle school families together. But with the short notice of this one, we thought that we would leave that at that virtual. And then throughout the day on Monday, our middle schoolers will be having assemblies to learn more about the different electives and the different programs that they're going to be having at the middle school, kind of things like how ASB will work, stuff like that. And then in mid-May, we'll be giving out more information about each individual elective offering so that our students and our families can decide which elective and world language classes that they're going to sign up for. And we'll be signing students up for those classes in the middle of May. And then Dr. Henry came up with a great idea for our new middle school. We're going to have students create some time capsule artifacts, our 5th through 7th graders. She's very crafty and always comes up with these amazing ideas. And then we'll bury that time capsule during a groundbreaking ceremony once we start that work on the new middle school facility. Then again, we'll be having, like I said, some in-person town halls for the middle school. And then just a kind of a far look ahead on August 11th, we'll be having our Meet Your Professor Day at all of our school sites. And we're super excited to now be able to be talking about and giving more specifics about our middle school facility. And really one of the things that, I've always really been thinking about is it's so great that we're able to offer this middle school opportunity, but be able to do it with our current OPA staff and being able to make sure that we're really bringing forward those OPA traditions and our great programs, our OPA culture, and being able to put that into a new site, but with just expanded offerings that are really tailored towards our middle school students. And I just want to thank our school board and and Dr. Henry and Mr. Barley for all of their hard work getting this accomplishment, and looking forward to just moving on with getting prepared for our new open middle school.
Thank you, Dr. Kanan. Any questions on the board? Do you have any questions, members?
I think one thing that I want to make sure that I understand is that this is a completely separate campus for our middle school and will be dedicated to our middle school and deliver the program that we've been talking about for months now for our middle school. In addition to that, we're also going to continue to invest in both SOC and SB campuses as well.
Yes, so
Okay.
we are going to continue with all of our upgrades. Mr. Barley has been putting in carpeting, and we'll be moving on to painting, as well as we had our pilot classrooms with our classroom furniture that we did this year. And we just went through and approved or kind of put together, and you will see it on the May 23rd board meeting, that approval to expand that new furniture out to the rest of our classroom. So we're really excited that we're going to have so many great new things going on at all of our campuses for all of our
And
students.
it'll continue throughout, the school year,
Yeah,
like we have
or-
been doing, so
Continuing to opify it consistently.
during breaks and
Mhm.
vacations, that kind of thing, yeah.
Definitely.
I have several, but others.
Go ahead, I'll go ahead and then I'll
Oh, okay. So just to build on that, what I've heard often in other campuses is, in other schools, for example, is this notion of a lower campus and an upper campus. So this is sort of a saying the upper campus is the middle school campus for both SV and SOC. And then the SOC and SV are not exclusively elementary schools with its own office, own parking lots, and so on. I just want to confirm that. And then, obviously with any sort of new construction, there is going to be, SVUSD is investing a significant amount of money into this to build us these new classrooms. And so it is going to be a significant, there is going to be potential for, with all the supply chain issues. So we are committed to, we plan for contingencies, and we're committed to being transparent with our middle school parents to say, look, in May, we're going to have a time, this month, we're going to have a time in June. Every month, there's some sort of a communication to say, hey, where are we with that? And we have contingency plans if there are unforeseen delays, right? Could you speak to that?
We want to make sure that our, all of our parents, but especially our middle school parents, are really, kind of looking out for those email communications, attending our different town halls and different events, so that they're getting all of that up-to-date information. We will be sharing kind of progress with where we are, kind of each step of the way with the new middle school facility. And then, like you said, Mr. Gugu, that, we'll be talking if there's any need for any contingencies or anything like that. We have a lot of different, steps that we can take to make sure that everything is as smooth of a process and causes no disruption to the education or the educational environment of our students. So, our programs are about our staff, our OPA community, our involved parents, and we want to make sure that everybody is, up to date and involved in all of those next steps and processes.
Member Travis, did you have any?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to get some practical notions out. So one is, we've done the analysis with our attorney to confirm that SDUSD has fulfilled its proposition for grant request. Number one. Thank you. Second one then is, we had a vision that Dr. you, Dr. Henry, Mr. Brickway, you guys have been building the vision for the middle school. You've stated that several times in multiple town halls, in all the information sessions and so on. And you then said, okay, here, these are the things that we want to deliver. And then you have then done the analysis to show that the facility that we have, you had to do this analysis anyway, wherever the facility was.
Yeah, no matter
Could
what.
you speak to that analysis that you've done to show that, hey, here's the number of classrooms we need, here's what we got, and, could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so we've looked at all of the programs, all of the staffing. I mean, we had that kind of a master schedule already laid out of what, what different staff we were going to need, what different classes we were going to have, making sure that we were able to lower those class sizes across the board in our different courses, making sure that we're able to have those accelerated classes as just our general classes across the board with our different academics, and then all of those different enrichment and elective opportunities. And we have, a map, and we're able to kind of place all of those different things, making sure that we do have the space for all of those different programs, all of those different staff members. Staff members aren't having to share classrooms or anything like that. And so all of our world language teachers will have their own separate classrooms, even extending into our elementary school. We're making sure that we're able to add those different classes in the grade levels, but also have designated classrooms for music, designated classrooms for other subjects, STEAM, across both of our SOC and SV campuses. So kind of a master facilities plan to make sure that we're able to offer all of those things from TK through 8th grade.
And then, we should probably also speak about the investments that OPA is making into the middle school. We talked about the classrooms and so on, but we are investing in putting that new parking lot so that it's a separate parking lot and separate experience. So it's done commingle with the.
Yeah, under Prop 39, Saddleback Valley isn't required to give us two separate campuses. They're required to give us enough space to house both of our campuses on, but we thought it would be very important to make sure that it is two separate spaces so that our middle schoolers, we can really focus on what our middle schoolers need versus what our elementary schoolers need. And so Saddleback has agreed to allow us to put in that separate parking lot so that there'll be completely separate entrance, separate offices for the middle school. All of that completely separated. And then some of the other things that we will be looking at putting in is the Saddleback Valley has agreed.
Could you go back to the map one?
Can you go back to slide 3?
Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, it's easier to see on the map. And so if you look in front of kind of in between where the new classrooms are and where the existing classrooms are, you'll see some blue shade structures there, kind of right there. Right there.
These ones.
Okay. I'm sorry, the pointer is not working, but Saddleback Valley is putting in one of those shade structures, and then we're going to put in the 3 additional shade structures to make sure that we have permanent structures instead of just the umbrellas or kind of the tight structures, but have permanent shade structures the same size as our current SV lunch area is now. That current lunch area is able to house 680 students, and this will be definitely large enough to be able to do the lunch area for our projected 570 middle school students.
So I think, the additional clarification would be helpful, particularly for SOC parents like me. So my understanding is that if you can circle around the blue classrooms above the one that you just circled,
Actually, I made it work.
the light blue ones, yeah.
Mhm.
So those ones are ones that are currently being used by middle schoolers in our.
No,
they're not.
well, some of them are, these two over here are currently being used by middle school.
Correct.
There's a total of 8 classrooms on the SV campus that are currently being used by middle school students right now. This will take 4 of those classrooms and make them part of the new middle school. And then 4 of those classrooms
Will
will
remain with the.
remain with the elementary school, and that's why we're able to
If you need to, yeah.
more
provide
of
more
those
program.
classes in the elementary level.
Yeah, and then we're gonna fence it off, and then we're gonna
There'll
have.
be a fence here. There's already a fence here. So this is a currently existing fence. This is a currently existing gate.
We're not able to see.
We're not able to see.
If you look
There
at,
you go, there you go.
And then this fence along here will be a new fence that will kind of split the field areas between SV, which is about the size of 2 soccer fields, and then, or sorry, the middle school, and then SV, which has the baseball diamond. For after school sports and things like that, SV or the middle school students will be able to kind of use this entire area because we don't have those after school sports programs for the elementary school. So they'll have this baseball diamond as well to be able to use after the normal school day.
And just to clarify then, we are investing in the parking lot. That's coming out of our funds.
Yeah, we are
The shade
investing in the
and the
parking
shade.
lot as well
The
as
shades and the
the
fence.
3 additional shade
Thanks.
structures. They're doing 1 shade structure. And then we'll be doing the additional shade structures, shade structure and the fence. And just to clarify, this middle school is 6th through 8th grade. And then our 2 existing elementary schools will be the TK through 5.
Okay.
And then we are, so we're gonna invest in that, and then we're gonna OPA whatever
OPA
students you give
all of
us, right?
all of
We
these.
get on the.
But that will probably take time,
That'll
right?
probably take time, but
Yeah.
we're gonna intend to do that, but again, it's part of our OPA of the other campuses, it'll be consistent with the things.
Done with the portables at SOC.
Yeah.
And all of the classrooms at SV will continue to make those upgrades to the new classrooms that are here for the middle school, as well as continuing to upgrade
Yeah.
our current classrooms.
Yeah. And go ahead. I have more.
I know. And just to ask the question, this is the permanent location for the new middle school. This is not a temporary location. This is the new permanent location for our middle school.
Yes, this is the location that Saddleback Valley is building for our middle school.
Okay.
And then it's not unusual that it's a 1-year agreement, because even the current SV campus, we have a 1-year agreement with SCSD. So every year we go through the same agreement.
We really don't want to limit ourselves from being able to expand our programs. So we do have large wait lists of
Yes.
students. And so we do the 1-year agreement. They are required to give us comparable facilities for all students that are within that live within the SVUSD boundaries. And so if that does increase in future years, then doing the 1-year facilities use agreement allows us to continue to get the comparable facilities for the students that we have in those grade levels.
And then if I put on sort of the experience hat of SV parents and SOC parents, the way it's going to be is that SV parents, you're going to provide provision if they have multiple siblings that they can drop off their elementary schools a little earlier,
Mhm.
because the current plan is for the middle school to start a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
That was always the plan.
Mhm.
And for the SOC parents, they were going to have to drop off the other kid in another middle school anyway. And so this is within range of the current SOC campus. It's no worse off than.
Yeah, it's about 8 minutes, and we're giving about a 15-minute window between the 2 start and end times, with the ability, because we will have campus supervisors at each
Yeah.
site, all 3 of our sites. So with the ability for parents to drop their kids off for the elementary schools a little bit early, if they're also dropping off their middle school students.
Okay.
So that parents don't have to go back and forth or wait around.
I'll make a procedural comment. Dr. Smith had to leave. She had she had an appointment at 10:30. Obviously, we took a little longer to convene into open session. So, but she's asked her questions as well. But anyway,
From you, she gave you the
Yeah.
questions and you
Yeah.
asked them, okay.
Member Chavez, did you have any?
Well, we have to,
And then,
Member Jackson, do you have any questions?
Your questions are so spectacular that I yield my questions.
Thank you.
You bet.
I think the obviously there's going to be, this is the first time we're communicating to our parents. Both the middle school parents, but also to our current SOC and SV elementary school parents. And so you're providing them with plenty of opportunities to ask their questions. They can reach out to the to all the different staff members and so on. I would strongly encourage the middle school parents to speak to you, to Dr. Henry, to Mr. Brickley, to kind of understand. I think the biggest question that all our middle school parents would have is, you know, can you fulfill what you promised us, the vision you promised us that we signed up for? Can you fulfill that? And there's been pretty detailed analysis that's been done. So it's easily available to each of you guys if you want us to show you sort of how we plan to develop that. And I think it seems to be clear from sort of our discussions also that the current SOC and SV elementary champions are going to actually benefit from this as well, because now, you know, all the things that the stakeholder community had told us when we were considering the middle school to say we are now, you know, some of the classrooms are, you know, there's not enough classrooms in SOC, so now we can deliver more programs, maybe reduce the class size, have more classes, add more scale. And so I certainly would encourage all the SOC parents, elementary school parents, SV parents, elementary school, and then the new middle school. Right, certainly encourage you guys to reach out to whoever you need to reach out to and ask your questions, right? So I just want to make sure that that opportunity is available.
And this does provide a lot more space on our SOC campus. I know that that was kind of a concern in the past. For us to expand out those classrooms, have more spaces for our different specialty classes, Scholar Academy, all of those different programs will have additional space with this new model, as well as adding additional classes in those different grade levels.
I want to thank, if there are no other questions, I do want to thank sort of the broader OPA community for your patience as we kind of work through this. It's a long journey from when we thought we were going to open a middle school to going through all the approvals. We had several parents come to us to SVUSD, to OCBE again. And then, you know, we've done multiple rounds of conversations with them. I know the negotiating team for OPA, Mr. Bali and Dr. Pinan, you guys have been negotiating with SVUSD for several, I don't know how long. And so I really appreciate you guys bringing us this far, where now the reality of a middle school is here right now. Now it's just about going and getting stuff done, which is the school version of what you say. And so, like, you know, I know the journey is just beginning. The building is just one part of it. There's a whole bunch of things that you guys have to deliver on. So definitely, you know, we have a lot of confidence in what you guys are doing, and you know, we're behind you guys and the broader community. If you have any other, you know, any other considerations, please attend these town halls. And Mr. Ripley there, he loves to answer questions there. Any other comments before we vote on the TCS agreement? Just for clarification, the facilities use agreement will be available, I believe, in the as we stated, the exhibit, which is sort of the final layout of the classrooms, is still being negotiated. It will be somewhat similar to this. And then the insurance terms is some terms that are still being negotiated. That has to go through multiple levels of insurance companies and so on. But we've kind of given direction on sort of what is acceptable for us. And so
Have you added that motion?
yes, I can add it again, but I did read that out.
Okay.
The one perhaps last clarifying comment you could make, Dr. Panan, is could you kind of speak to the process just with SVUSD between now and the board meeting? Could you speak to that a little bit?
So SVUSD has a board meeting on May 11th. They need this and to be approved before the end of business on May 5th. So we are having this meeting My mask is maybe, oh, sorry. And so, as the motion states, there will be the preliminary approval. And we are continuing over the next 2 days, or the rest of today and the next 2 days to negotiate through the insurance pieces of that facilities use agreement. And then that will be finalized by Friday to put in their board packet for their approval on May 11th. As far as the kind of layout of the facilities, there's a couple of different options. And so we're working with the Saddleback Valley Unified Facilities Department to look at what those different options will look like. But as far as the actual facilities use agreement, it doesn't really have the necessity for the exact layout. It's more agreeing to the 16 additional classrooms and restrooms, the shade structures and those, the ability to put in the parking lot.
I want to go to you any more questions. Anything else from the board? Okay, so I'm gonna read the motion one more time. We are making a motion, and we made a motion already to approve the facilities use agreement as submitted by SPOC negotiators on 5/1/2023, and the board has had a chance to review it. And the board is also giving authority to Dr. Jan and Sarah Coleman, who's our attorney, to negotiate the final terms related to insurance section and exhibit A. Okay, any questions about that? Is ready to vote? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, I think we will move on to item number 7, which is community input on non-agendized items. The public may comment on items not listed on the agenda that are within the legal purview of the board of directors. Public comments, including email comments, should be limited to 3 minutes per comment and up to 20 minutes of public comment. Do we have any community input, Dr. Hannah?
We have one, Betsy Franklin. You can jump up in the chair.
You can put it in that.
Don't touch my chair though, because I worry.
My comment is just the town hall tomorrow. It'd be really nice to have it also in person. I know it's last minute, but that's been on the calendar longer than this one. And it would bring value to all of the stakeholder input for people who would rather speak up in person than on Zoom.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you. We have 90. I have to say, we have 105 people. This is the most number of people who have joined an OPA board meeting. So thank you for your interest. And it was the middle of the day. This is sort of how the timing worked out for us. We had to, as you guys can imagine, we had to get this into the SVUSC board meeting relatively quickly, right? So that way, but we believe the design process is ongoing already. The DSA's approvals are being submitted for, and so construction hopefully will start shortly. And we've also negotiated that they will cordon off the construction area, so none of the current elementary school kids will be impacted by it. Okay.
It's a small area of the field that really doesn't get used much, because we have our SV campus is almost 9 acres. Our SSC campus is about 4 acres, so there's a lot of extra space there.
Thank you. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we'll go to item number 8, adjournment. It's recommended the board adjourn the special meeting of the Oxford Preparatory Academy Board of Directors on May 3rd, 2023. I have a motion.
I make a
Please.
motion.
Thank you, Member Chavez. May I have a second?
A second, and can I just have a little bit of a discussion here?
Please.
All I want to say about this is that I want to thank the community at large. This is a gigantic project. It takes so many people. It takes so much coordination. And really from my board mates forward, this is a vigorous debate. This is very passionate. This is a big deal. Working really, really hard to make sure that everyone's interests are represented, that we keep students first, that this is, the OPA experience is something that's so important to so many people. And this is just to be in the catbird seat right here and watch it happen is such a treat. It's such a treat to watch. Everybody's super passionate about, right? And behind that voice is someone who's committed to making sure that student experience is amazing. And so it is such a treat to be here. I feel so blessed to be experiencing this with all of you and all these people moving forward in lockstep. I think, Amy and David, it's just such a huge testament, to your effort, Dr. Henry. But man, my board mates, it is really amazing to sit here with you guys and watch it all happen. And to have all these interests represented fairly is just really feels good. This feels good. And I appreciate you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Member Jackson. Anything else? Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting's adjourned at 10:55 a.m.